Okay, so welcome back to part 3. Once again, if I haven't bored you already, then I'm very happy, hoping that you learn a little bit. And if I have bored you already, then you're probably not even watching this, so thanks for sticking there with me if you're there. So just recapping what we know real quickly about 3D printing. We know that 3D prints are done in the most part anyway as layers. So you start with one layer and you just continue to build upon those layers to create an item. We also know there is 3 different planes for 3D. We have an X, and we have a Y, and we also have a Z to give us the 3-dimensional form. We also know that 3D printers can use different materials to print with, and that the technology has made them not only more affordable but more reliable, faster to print, and the ability to make all kinds of complex designs. So like I said in the last video, let's take a look at some of the really neat stuff that we can do with 3D prints. So here is a look at a little minifigure. It's a simple little Dungeon and Dragon type character for a board game or a tabletop game. And as you see, he has just a little base, and it's a actual little miniature guy standing there. And I look at some other ones there. Now this is a huge leap from just doing squares and arches and balls and different things like that. We can get pretty intricate with our designs. And as you can see here on the roof of this building, just the shingles and everything detail wise there is just where the liquid plastic, if you would call it that, has been allowed to form in different shapes, and all of this is controlled through 3D modeling software. So that's where we're going to branch off to now, is looking at 3D modeling software. So when you have a 3D printer and you're interested in 3D printing, you have different options. Now you can do something that's as basic as going to let's go to Thingiverse. It's one of the main websites where you can just get files. The files for 3D modeling for the most part are called STL, and those files are what 3D modeling software uses to render different designs, different images. So just taking a brief look at Thingiverse, now keeping in mind up here at the top you can search for anything, and just looking at their main page, some of the things people have made in design, and these are all free and available to download. Here's a funnel for a jug. Here's a Halloween octopus, and yes, all the legs here are able to move freely, almost like hair in a way, and everything is 3D printed on this. Here's a water reduction nozzle for a shower that somebody has designed. Over here you have a simple stand for a laptop, and we can just browse through all of these, and it could be something that's functional that comes in handy, or it could be something that's aesthetic, like this for a Halo video game for cosplay. 3D printed wall art. Here's a stackable dump bin Oh, shouldn't have showed that one. All kinds of things you can find here. A little bit of everything. And here's just some little minifigures. There's a look at a 3D printer in Garfield. Some things are functional, some things are just meant to be toys, kind of, and played with. Some things are really meant to problem solve. So this is just one website you can go to. Now, if you're not interested in just downloading files, but you want to take it a step further, and you want to actually, design your own, there's a lot of 3D modeling software, and that's where we hit the wall with 3D printing. A lot of people fail at 3D printing because they feel stuck. They feel locked in to only being able to do this, that, or the other. The learning curve on 3D modeling is extreme. So I'm going to show you one of the very basic sites that you can go to and practice 3D modeling. Now keep in mind, you do not have to have a 3D printer to learn 3D modeling. When you are designing something in a 3D modeling program, you can take it in two directions. Once you have your model designed, you can export it to a different file format, which is called OBJ, and that is the file that the 3D printer actually uses to print with. Now, once your 3D model is designed and rendered, so to speak, it will be a STL file, which is a intermediary program in between the 3D modeling software, in between the 3D printer, and that program is called a slicer. Slicing programs, the biggest one out there being Cura, probably the most popular anyway. They take the 3D model and they write it basically in a new code, and as we said, 3D printers do it layer by layer. So think of a slicer almost like let's say you had a full loaf of bread and all of a sudden it needed to be sliced so that you can have slices and make your toast in the morning or whatever the case is. That's what that program does, is slice it, and then creates the OBJ file for your printer to understand exactly what layers it has to put where. So one of the basic and most easy to learn 3D modeling programs, and like I said, you can mess with this on your own and just learn basic 3D modeling with basic 3D shapes, is Tinkercad. It's online, so there's no program to download, and it will keep up with your designs, and you can come back and edit and whatever your time allotment is to learn and play. The only thing you have to do is just sign up for an account, which is free. Everything's free. So I've had some different designs through here that I've messed with. I will show you how to make a new design. I'll show you some very basics about Tinkercad, and hopefully that will spark your interest. Now, before we go any further, because I'm getting ready to wrap this part up, I did want to show you what I have been doing lately, and this is lithophanes, which I find very fascinating. So you have an original picture like my dog Daisy here. This is just a regular old photograph. It could be physical or it could be digital, it doesn't matter. And what we do is we take this and we 3D print it. So once we 3D print it, we end up with an image like this, which unfortunately is kind of hard to see. Maybe we can zoom in a little bit there. And this is all 3D printed. Once you put a light source behind it, it pops up pretty well. Now, I'll give you an example of what it looks like when it's printed. So it just looks like a mess. But once you put that light source behind it, then it comes out like a picture. That's some of the technology and some of the learning curve I've been messing with. So once again, here is a picture of Keeping with Halloween, Michael Myers. This is the original image, and then this is my 3D printed image. Keeping in mind that my camera isn't all that great. Now, you can also do functional prints. It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So in this case, this is a Xbox One controller. It's the battery cover for it. Now, of course, if you're a gamer, you do have a tendency, especially if you have kids, to lose these battery covers. And unfortunately, there's really nowhere you can go to find or buy one of these cheap. Now, of course, they are for sale. They will cost you a little bit. You definitely don't want to go out and buy a new controller for $60 just to have a complete controller again. But we can 3D print stuff like this. So how many battery covers are your remote controls missing for your TVs and, oh, show my age here, your VCRs and your DVD players? Well, if you are able to 3D model and you're able to 3D print, you can just recreate what you need. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and wind this video up. I hope you come back for part 4, because I'm going to take you into Tinkercad, and we're actually going to design one of my light boxes for my lithophanes. I need to redo a 2x3. So if you would, come back for the part 4, and I'll see you next time.